Thank you. All right, let's move to our next conversation now. Very quickly, our guest is in the waiting room, and it's got to do with a story, Binga.
Yes, back to politics. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has raised concerns over a recurring pattern in the assignment of its case to 3 judges of the Federal High Court in Abuja. In a petition dated November the 19th, Taufik Arapaja, National Secretary of the PDP, wrote to John Soho, Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, expressing unease over the repeated allocation of the party's matters to Justice James Omotosho, Peter Lifu and Mohammed Abdulmalik. The party alleges that every single case, whether filed by or against the party, has been routed to this trio other judges in the same, despite the presence of 9 other judges in the same division. The party says this raises red flags about impartiality and judicial fairness. Well, you can find on the screen the petition there written. But joining us now is a PDP member, Mazi Dickson Iroegbu, joins us this morning. Good morning to you, Mazi Iroegbu. Thanks for joining us. It's inevitable.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm just going to say it's inevitable that this particular petition would come up, because we've had other PDP members join us on the program, and they've equally highlighted some of these reasons. But is the PDP genuinely concerned about impartiality, or is this a strategic move to discredit unfavorable rulings that has not gone in favor of the PDP?
We are concerned as not just as a party. The People's Democratic Party is concerned as citizens of Nigeria. Members are concerned, and as the new NWC came on board, we complained, we reached out to the new leadership to ensure that these angles are also brought to the fore, so that at least let it be known that we are aware of this, back-end approaches that the detractors of our party have always used, to derail or to slow down the progress of the party. It appears that while, yes, we agree that the judiciary seem to be, harboring some corruptible members amongst them, and when the likes of the FCT minister, who is a live bencher and all of that, brags about putting fire and destabilizing the PDP and all of that, we have seen that his influence, the hands of the FCT minister seem to be playing out and all of that. So the party is concerned and had to call the attention of the new leadership to ensure that at least we also, call the leadership in the judicial arm to ensure that justice is done, not just done, but seen to be done. Because the judiciary has no business meddling in the affairs of a political party. But it appears that recent judgments, as we got from the names mentioned in that letter, that they seem to be meddling in the affairs of our party, especially even when Supreme Court has ruled that political parties' internal issues are supposed to be handled internally, according to the rules that sets up the party. So, but that's not our case, and that's why the party had to. And I commend the new leadership. Of course, our new chairman is a senior advocate of Nigeria and all of that. So the approach adopted now is so that we stop these distractions and put the party on the right track, because we've had enough distractions, really.
Mazi Iroegbu, we still have quite a lot to unpack with regards to the PDP, but we will beg you to hold on for a second as we have bills to pay. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue our conversation. Do stay with us. You're welcome back to Breakfast Central, and we'll continue our conversation on the PDP's petition to the National Judicial Council and why 3 judges have cases repeatedly assigned to them when the division has 9 other judges. And join us to make sense of all of this is a stakeholder of the People's Democratic Party, a chieftain, Mazi Dickson Iroegbu. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, looking at this petition, why do you think there is a repeated pattern of assigning PDP cases to these 3 judges, despite the division having 9 other judges? Do you think it's deliberate, it's systematic, or are you making a mountain out of a molehill?
It is clear that there is the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob is being heard. So we are not unaware of the antics of the main actor in the attempt to destabilize the PDP, that is the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. We know the level of influence he has in the judiciary. Of course, you also know that he is very known to have directly or indirectly attempted to influence things in the judicial arm, because all of those buildings that you would use taxpayers' money to build and then hand over to judges and all of that, my brother, this is our country, and our party, the PDP, has gone through a lot. We are not unaware of all of. Like I said, the new chairman of our party, Dr. Taminu Turaki, SAN, knows better, and that is why you are seeing this approach. Because if not, why will it be repeated? The same person, the same group of people, those 3 names mentioned, and every time our cases are taken there, it is in favor of those on the other side, the expelled members, former members of the party, But we rely on the position of the Supreme Court, which has ruled that it is not the business of court to intervene in the day-to-day operations and internal operations and the internal leadership of the party, but rather to ensure that parties adhere to its constitution. And that is, for instance, like the issue of the convention that almost, got derailed. Why will the court attempt to stop, that convention? It's because there was something influencing it, something that we followed through the process of the constitution of our party. At the neck, we sat and agreed that the convention is going to be on so date, and motion was activated in that direction. And then some group who have sworn to ensure that the PDP is destabilized went to court, shopped for judgment to ensure that that convention was stopped, and they failed. But for us to go forward, in rebuilding our party, there's a need for us to ensure that these other angles that they are using to distract and destabilize is, quelled, stopped as immediately as possible. So it's not like we're making issues out of nothing, but these are facts. They are there. It's for us all to, you can investigate this and, judge for yourself.
Okay. Well, you've made the petition, you've pushed, and let's see if you would get a response, talking about the party. And in likelihood where you do not get a response, the question would now be, what next? That's the question. But that's a question I'd like for you to answer. What next if you do not get a response?
This place is not a jungle. Nigeria is not a jungle. I don't want to believe that the judiciary will not do everything possible to save its image, right? Especially now that it looks obviously now like that democracy is under attack in Nigeria. The judiciary is supposed to sit up and ensure that it saves democracy. The institution, the judicial arm as an institution is, its image is, battered terribly. And I think this will be one of the opportunities they should ensure they use to attempt redeeming that image. It's not possible that all judges in Nigeria are corrupt. It's not possible. But it's also not, we're also not unaware that there are a few, bad eggs amongst them. And we have singled these names out, and we believe that the judiciary as an institution will save itself. That's all we've done. We've brought its matter to its table and hope that it will help save its own self from, this terrible image that it doesn't enjoy in the public domain and all that. Because the court of public opinion has resolved that the judicial arm is corrupt. We as a party do not believe that the judiciary is corrupt, but we know that there are bad eggs amongst them that have brought this negative image on the institution. So should they not respond? Well, that would be them shooting themselves in the foot. Will the party take to lawlessness? No, but we'll do everything possible to ensure that we do not allow those who have decided to destroy themselves and not the party, we will not allow them to succeed in their plans. That's what's important to us as members of the party. And this new NWC is determined to ensure also its safe democracy, because that's what's important in this. Everything that the people involved in this whole derailing thing is, everything they are doing is to ensure that we are confined to a one-party state, which will be anti-democracy. So the new leadership will believe in their commitment to ensure that the PDP is rejigged and put back on track to winning ways.
Now, Mazi Iroegbu, away from judicial matters, now let's come to internal politics of the People's Democratic Party. You just said the ruling party might have fingers in derailing your party, but others will say you are not putting your house in order. Following the Ibadan Convention, there were two separate necks that were called, and we saw what happened at Wadata Plaza that day. A lot of people have described it as a show of shame, and since then we know what has happened. The party that was expelled at the Ibadan Convention decided to respond fire for fire. The YNO faction also expelled your side of the party, and Nigerians are wondering which way forward, what's going to happen. Wadata Plaza has been sealed. Will it be reopened anytime soon? What sort of talks, what has happened since then? And do we apply the wisdom of King Solomon, perhaps? One faction will take upstairs of Wadata Plaza, the other faction will take downstairs. How do we resolve these internal issues in your party?
There's no faction. Forget the narrative that those who have expelled, that are expelled from the party, are trying to, it's more like the last kick of a dead horse, as far as we're concerned. What happened at Wadata Plaza that where I was also attacked, because I was directly attacked. If you recall on your platform, on your station here, the time that the former National Secretary had his issues and all of that, I was one of those that spoke up for him. I was one of those that stood with him, because the constitution of our party is supreme, and the party's constitution did not allow or say that he must resign. He gave room for the option of resigning. And in this case, being that what he went out to contest for governorship of my state, Imo State, he didn't succeed in it, and came back to continue. He didn't resign. So I stayed with him, and of course the case went up to Supreme Court. It was at that Supreme Court judgment that we clearly, that the position that we are referring to now is well defined, that you ought to have your internal issues resolved according to your constitution. So that aside, now, when the party now activated the convention, it was at the 101 neck where he himself, the former National Secretary, moved a motion for the adoption of the then acting chairman as substantive national chairman. And all processes required for the convention was there at that 101 neck activated. So when whatever disagreements that they had and all of that, and the party leadership came to terms with what their plan is, the plan of the Nyesom Wike end, which is that they have taken a position that they are going to stay in the PDP and support the current president. Who will say, yeah, you have a right to support him, but you have no right to stay in our party to be doing that, because the purpose of every political party is to contest election and possibly win election. So we intend to contest for that 2027 election and, possibly, of course, take over government in 2027. So when these people insisted on what they are planning and all of that, the party activated ways of ensuring that they are taken care of. The highest arm of organ of the party is the convention. And according to the constitution of our party, it is at the convention that party members and party leaders can possibly be disciplined, as we saw at the Ibadan convention. And that decision stands until after 4 years, if they reapply, at the convention, and if there's a consideration for them to be readopted or allowed back into the party, they should go back to the process and wait possibly for the next 4 years. So what played out at the Wadata Plaza was a shame, yes, but we know that it is these people who have sworn to ensure that the PDP does not succeed in its plans to help salvage our country, to help save democracy in our country and all of that. But they have failed because, yes, the secretariat is sealed, but it doesn't stop the party from functioning. But you see also, the current government needs to also watch it, because the kind of tension we are faced with in our country today, if you are a patriotic Nigerian, you would observe that this administration is attempting everything possible to end democracy in Nigeria. But we will not allow it. Citizens will not allow it, because you won't say that the president is not aware of what his minister, Nyesom Wike, is doing. What played out at Wadata Plaza, where police took over the secretariat of the PDP, couldn't have been without the approval of the president. And if the president is not aware, nobody has been brought to book up till now. Nyesom Wike has not been called to order up till now. That then should tell us who is directly involved in the attempt to destabilize the opposition, particularly the People's Democratic Party, because that is the party that the APC is, of course, afraid of. By the time the PDP presents a candidate in 2027, they are already gone.
Okay,
and
all right.
That is for us to see.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, Mazi Iroegbu, for speaking with us. We've gotten from your comments firsthand on what the plan simply is, especially for Wadata Plaza being barricaded, and then the letter to the CJN. Thanks for your time. We'll look forward to have you again.
Can you afford me an opportunity to also use this medium to please call the attention of Mr. President to please instruct immediately that the Wadata Plaza, the PDP Secretariat, be reopened, because he is the one shutting it down at this moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mazi.
Thank you for your time.